boy! Episode 16. I can't even really right now, so let's talk about it, huh? Okay, so the episode starts. We have just finished the trials. We walk into this lounge area. There's a bar, there's a bunch of tables and food and stuff. And I don't know about the rest of the party, but I am 70% certain that we're about to be attacked the second we walk into this room. But that doesn't happen. We walk in and no one really says anything. It's almost eerie how nothing happens when we walk in this room. So we just sit down and wait to see what happens. Cynric Montaigne stands up and congratulates us all on finishing the trials. But then he reveals that he has been pulling a deceit on us. He takes out his flute and waves it in front of his face and reveals that he was only disguised to be Cynric Montaigne, and he is in fact Parzival. Parzival being another winemaker in town the group encountered back in episode 12 during our brunch. And Christy and I both immediately got bad vibes from this guy. I would like to say that we called it. Roll the tape.
A couple of you feel a pair of hands, like a hand on the back of your chair, and you hear a voice, "Well, that sounds impressive." And the man who had been playing the flute on the stage is now just kind of huddled over your group, just kind of hands on the back of two chairs, and just looking around. "Are you enjoying the meal?"
So we are feeling very vindicated that this guy is actually the bad guy here. Right when we get over from being flabbergasted and honestly feeling a little good about trusting our women's intuition, that turns out to not be the end of the reveals today. Because next, Parzival says, "Let me introduce you to the actual patron tonight." And we hear heavy footsteps come down the hallway. And Kardrak Mother Effin Mithril Code walks into the room. This is another man that we have met before back in Balesville. We last saw him trying to round up a group of people to take down the Ascendancy, and Azaria infiltrated one of their meetings and was caught by him. So the fact that they are both in this room right now is not ideal. Kardrak for sure knows who Azaria is, and probably knows who the rest of the group is as well, if we're being honest. But they just kind of continue to keep talking about the bid as if it isn't completely obvious that we aren't supposed to be here. And in fact, they even announced that the winner of the bid, the winner of the trials, was us. But of course it is not that simple. Sarze, the kind of assistant to this whole thing, comes over and tells us that there is a mole amongst us. And again, our group's like, a mole? And Sarze says, yes, a mole, and it's that man there. And she points at Nell's brother. And Christy as Nell has just the best response possible to this. Because I really thought that she was gonna just stab Sarze, is really what I thought was gonna happen. But she pulls off this super slick lie. She's just like, "You're right, he is a mole, but a mole for us, the Cowell and crew gang. We sent him into the Merry House to figure out what was going on. You caught us, whoops." Which was brilliant. But unfortunately, the deceit did not stop there, because Sarze admits that he actually isn't the one I was talking about. It's Azaria, which we all knew was coming. And Sarze says, the gang that can kill the Cowell and crew gang will win the bid. And a fight breaks out. Because of course it does. This is kind of exactly how we expected this to go. Everything up until this point hasn't really made sense, but this makes sense that we've got every gang in this room fighting us. Yeah, that's pretty much what we thought was going to happen today. What we didn't expect, though, was that she was going to cast Seeming on the entire room and turn us all into Parzival lookalikes, which is super annoying as a character, but very cool as an encounter design. Because as people scatter and start to fight, it becomes immediately difficult to figure out who is friend and who is foe. We shout out to the Merry Hall gang to confirm that they are going to fight with us and not against us, which is good because we're gonna need all the help we can get in this fight. And we sure heckin' did. This was a tough fight. They're strong fighters. We're level 4 characters. Sarze also does still appear to be herself, and Azaria runs to attack her. And Sarze proves as well that she is super, super strong, and we shouldn't be fighting her. Nell's knocked unconscious. Gideon's knocked unconscious. Azaria's knocked unconscious. Abe realizes that there are 5 people in this room who are worthy, and he goes into like stimulation overload mode. It's brutal. And we see some of the best and worst death saving throws I have ever seen in my years of playing D&D. Gideon twice rolls a nat 20 while he's making death saving throws. Twice. This giant monk pounds him into the floor and he just stands back up again. Having Nell's brother on our side is also super helpful because he is a proper paladin and can heal. So as Nell keeps getting knocked out in this fight, he at least can keep reviving her. But unfortunately, that leaves all our healers on one side of the room. Well, Azaria lays unconscious on the other side. And we thought we had time. How often does a character die with just 2 death saving throws, with Drax standing right beside them? Azaria grabs his hand, hands him a key, and tells him that there's a book in their room, and then dies. It's brutal. The whole party is so tired and so worn out. Gideon's at like 1 HP. Abe also goes down. I forgot that this happened. Abe also goes down and is making death saving throws, and Nell lays on hands and brings him up, but like the whole party is wiped and Azari is dead. And we're like, we need to get out of here. And we realize that the building is on fire. And when we find this like back exit, we take Azaria's body with us. We climb out of this like underground dungeon that we're in, and we're like an hour outside of town. We ask Abe if he can take Azaria's body to the temple that we went to before when Abe was de-aged. And so he does. He's the fastest in the group. We hand him Azaria's body and he runs off. The rest of us catch up later with him at the temple. The clerics say that they can help, but they need a diamond. We sent Abe up to the Arcanet Institute to see if our friend Yulumfa might have a diamond. I don't actually know what our plan was there. It's like midnight. It's very late. No one's at the Arcanet Institute, obviously. But Abe, and honestly, I don't know what he does here, but he like reaches inside himself and connects with Malden and asks Malden to tell him if there's a diamond in this building. And Malden leads him to one. He gets a sense of where he might find one, and he goes through the Arcanet and he breaks down a big heavy door and comes into a very fancy looking room, which cannot possibly be good. But Abe finds a safe that he's certain has a diamond in it, and he can hear guards coming up the stairs behind him because someone has broken into the Arcanet Institute. And so his obvious course of action is to jump out the window with the safe. And he jumps out the window and lands and rages just before landing, but even still hits the ground hard enough to knock him unconscious. And what a day this was. I swear to God, I will never see rolls like this again in my life. He actually rolls a nat 20 on his first death saving throw, which means that he stands up with 1 goddamn HP. And he takes that safe with the diamond and he hides, and he rolls very well on his hiding check. And then he comes back to the temple and he says, "Look, I've got a diamond." And so the group goes into the back, breaks open this safe to get the diamond, and then they bring it back to the clerics, and the clerics revive Rhea. This is wild. My heart. And that's where we end the episode. Azaria's alive, which is a miracle. We shouldn't have been able to survive that fight. It really felt like... Well, I guess we didn't. God damn, that session was so good. So we've got a number of problems ahead of us now. The city's not probably going to be super excited about our breaking into the Arcanet. Kardrak Mithrilcoat, Parsival, Sarze all escaped that fight. Kardrak Mithrilcoat is planning something something big to have been in Balesville and now here and trying to get someone together to do some sort of smuggling job. Anyways, that's where we're gonna end this. The next episode of Play Dicely is going live December 5th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We're gonna do another Sunday because it worked out so well last time. But until then, as always, be happy, be kind, and as always, play Dicely.